Hi, this is Crystal from Scenestr TV, and today we're talking to Australian singer, songwriter, music producer and artistic director Katie Noonan. Katie, thanks for joining us.
G'day, thank you for having me in your lovely pink bedroom.
No
very
worries
nice.
at all. So let's start by talking about your new album, With Love and Fury.
Yep.
Can you explain for us what you've created and what it means to you?
Well, for those people that live in Brisbane, they'll know that there's a building in the valley called the Judith Wright Centre for Contemporary Arts, I think.
That's it, yeah.
And I literally went past that building when it was built, I don't know, maybe 10 years ago or so, and went, oh, who's Judith Wright? I'd somehow missed her writing in school. A lot of people who are a little bit older than me, Judith Wright was kind of a staple of high school English, but for some reason I missed her, and so I literally just kind of went and explored her writing and fell in love with her voice. I think she's a very significant kind of badass poet and talks about really wonderful themes and important themes that are still really relevant today, you know, years after her death. So anyway, this idea started a few years ago where I wanted to celebrate her writing, and I've always dreamt about playing with the Brodsky Quartet ever since I heard them with Elvis Costello, the Juliet Letters 25 years ago. And it all just kind of came together in this dream project where I asked 9 of my favourite Australian contemporary classical composers to set the words of Judith to music for string quartet and voice. Cellist Jackie and Ian, the second violinist, they've been playing since 1972. The violist joined. So the 3 of the 4 have been playing together since 1982. Judith's words really do speak to me, so yeah, and the songs are so beautiful. They're achingly beautiful. Elixir, my trio, started out as poetry set to music, and we've made 2 albums working with 2 Queensland poets. The first one was Martin Challis and the second one was Thomas Shapcott, who's from Ipswich. This is, for all intents and purposes, a pretty classical record. Okay. It's quite grown up and classical. There's always interpretation, and the song that I wrote is more improvised, but yeah, because the composers their notes are so wonderful that I'm singing them, you know, as written. But there's a lot you can obviously do with interpretation and phrasing. Most of the time I sing my own tunes, so that's kind of been my main bag for 20 years now. It's really challenging music. It's quite difficult, so that's an exciting challenge for me, which I really enjoy. And I really do feel a deep connection to the words. A lot of the themes that Judith explores are themes that really speak to me. 2 of the main themes running through her life were ecology and the conservation of our wonderful ecosystem and our wonderful nature here in Australia, and also her desire for reconciliation between Indigenous and non-Indigenous Australians. I remember going to this protest against the Iraq War in 1993, and at the time my dad worked for the Defence Force, and it ended up being, we were, you know, marching at my dad's workplace, which was kind of awkward, and then my dad saw me and realised that I wasn't at school. I was actually at a little protest march. I think the quest of any musician as well is that you're always kind of searching, so therefore that leads you to question things. My favourite Australian band ever is Midnight Oil, and what they did with their music was, you know, I didn't know who Truganini was. I didn't know so much stuff that they, you know, educated me about, and we were lucky enough, George, in the early years to tour with them, and they were the most amazing band live. Like, I've never seen a band anywhere near that good. So I guess seeing a band like that early on made me realise the importance of the power of lyrics and what they can do. And, you know, music has been at the forefront of social change for decades, you know, like the human rights movement and anti-apartheid, and, you know, like there is a certain responsibility, I think, that comes with being a musician, but I'm not an overtly political kind of singer-songwriter. I just kind of sing from my point of view, and can only do it from my point of view, and then hopefully it will relate to someone else. I remember I wrote Special Ones quite a few years ago, and for me it was actually about someone who had quite a serious drug addiction. And I had women coming up to me saying, oh, this song, related to me in relation to my, violent partner and stuff like that. And I was like, wow, that's amazing that it meant that for you, because it wasn't about that for me. And yeah, everyone hears music differently.
Yeah.
Some of my earlier heroes in music were people like Annie Lennox, and their strength was through their subtlety and their decision to remain clothed in film clips and not sell sex to sell music and all that kind of stuff. So I guess I thought about those things early on as a woman in the music industry. Premiere at QPAC on the 28th of April. Yeah. Thank you. And then we go all around the country, which is awesome. Yeah. Elixir, we're writing a record with Michael Lunick. So that's kind of floating around the edges. Also my classical stuff with Karen Schaub, classical guitarist. We're kind of dreaming up another thing. But I've got a new, very grown-up job. So I'm very lucky to be the artistic director of the Queensland Music Festival, which is a huge job. Exciting, a little bit overwhelming, but more than anything inspiring, and that's keeping me amazingly busy. Heaps of regional. Awesome. In fact, I think that's possibly QMF's greatest strength in a way. The community event. Last year we did this epic thing in big concert in Logan with a cast of over 700. Wow. Yeah. Well, we're the largest music festival in the world in terms of land size, because Queensland is so big. So we're just dreaming up stuff for my first festival, which is next year. And my theme for the festival overall is Find Your Voice. So Queensland Find Your Voice. So I believe that everyone that can talk can sing. So my idea is that all the concerts will have some sort of community singing, whether it be on the stage or in the audience or both.
Cool. So audience participation and stuff.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah. I do a Kumbaya style sing along at most of my gigs. And people sound amazing. They don't realise how the power of kind of singing together. It sounds, people who wouldn't normally sing sound beautiful. So
forget the night in our brief happiness.
I can't stop looking at that bra up there. It's very nice. It's a bit small for me, but it's a very pretty bra.